So guys, you want to be able to hit more winners off your forehand side and make less unforced errors. If that's of interest to you, make sure to stay tuned. Now, of course, if you want to get more winners off the forehand, you're going to have to hit the ball harder, you're going to have to generate more racket head speed. But I know a lot of players who try to do that make a lot of mistakes. They find they hit the ball long, they hit the ball wide, they make a lot of unforced errors. So what you need is to have a little bit more topspin on the ball to make sure that the element of consistency is still there. And this video is going to just share a few different ways you can get that much more topspin to make sure that you're still keeping the ball in court when you really try to accelerate on the forehand side. A lot of you, I'm sure, can already hit topspin, but if you really want to maximize the effect, make sure that you are using the correct grip. And the one that we recommend the most for you guys is definitely the semi-Western grip. It's also the most common amongst the professionals on the tour. Now, there are two other options, which are the Eastern forehand grip and the full Western grip, which are also fine, but the one that we recommend the most is the semi-Western because it just gives you the best balance between power and then that topspin that we all desire. Having said that, the continental grip on the forehand is a definite no-go. The second thing I want you guys to look at is the swing path of your forehand. And low to high is something we've all heard our coaches say to us. And it's a very basic concept, but a very important one if you want to be able to hit with a lot of topspin. Now, the steeper the swing path, or in other words, the more low to high your swing is, the more you're going to be able to brush up the back of the ball and generate more topspin. And a good way of thinking about the swing path is imagine your racket traveling up a hill. So you start at the bottom of the hill and then you travel all the way to the top, and the steeper that hill, the more topspin you're going to be able to get. The more shallow the hill, or in other words, the more horizontal the swing path, the flatter the shot is going to be. Now, if you really want to crank up that RPM rate, you're going to have to think about racket head speed. And the more racket head speed you get, the more topspin you're going to be able to get, provided that you have the correct grip that we mentioned and provided that you have that steep swing path. So if you're brushing up the ball correctly, the more you accelerate whilst doing that, the easier it's going to be for you to get the topspin. And the more you decelerate, the less topspin you're going to be able to get. The last thing you can do to the shape of your swing to get that extra bit of topspin is that same side follow through that you sometimes see the professionals use. Now, I understand the professionals might use this shot to kind of improvise on their forehand if they're late preparing or if they're dealing with a really deep ball. And I wouldn't actually teach any of my clients to hit the ball, to hit their forehands this way. But it is a really good way of improvising on the forehand, and actually some of the pros will do it on purpose in certain situations. For example, when their opponent is approaching the net and they just want to kind of hook it cross court. Or another situation would be when you want to open up the court, when you want to find really short and sharp angles. It's a really good way of hitting the ball to get that bit of extra topspin to get the winner. Of course, the technique behind the shot is the most important part in maximizing topspin. But if you want to take it a step further, you can actually look at the types of equipment that you're using. Now, I won't go into too much detail, but there's two things that I will mention, and that is the type of string that you use and then the type of racket that you use as well. Now, a more hexagonal string, a more hexagonal type of string as opposed to a more round one is said to give you a bit more topspin. And then with regards to the type of racket, a more open string pattern is said to give you a bit more topspin as well, as opposed to a more closed one. So the type of string and the type of racket that you use may also be of benefit to you as well. So there you have it, a load of different ways of maximizing topspin to have that consistency, to keep the ball in court while still really accelerating the racket, while still really hitting the ball as hard as you want, to try your best to get those winners from the back of the court. Anyway guys, as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to throw a thumbs up if you liked the video, and maybe even subscribe if you appreciate this type of content. Catch you in the next video. Take care.